participating, but we will bring some of that to you live when it happens. In the meantime, when Kentucky Senator Rand Paul formally launched his campaign last week, he did it with his, quote, secret weapon at his side. Well, who is that? Yep, his wife of 24 years, Kelley Paul, who will be instrumental in introducing her husband to the nation, especially women voters, who some say Senator Paul may be struggling with. Well, here's how Rand Paul responded to those claims last night with Greta.
The interesting thing we've seen is that in the last couple of weeks, we're out polling Hillary Clinton in Iowa, which is a purple state, Pennsylvania, which is a purple state, and also in Colorado. So I think we're doing something right to attract independents and women because we're out polling her in these bellwether states that could go either way.
And joining me now, Kelley Paul, the wife of Republican presidential candidate Rand Paul. Great to have you on The Real Story.
Thank you.
And I know you have a new book out. We're going to get to that in just a moment. What do you make of the fact that some people are saying that your husband may not be able to connect as well with women? You are his wife. How do you respond to that?
Right. You know, I think it's just a false narrative, a construct sort of created on the Democrat side. I mean, my husband has worked with strong women his entire life. He spent over 10 years in private practice with a female ophthalmologist. So a strong female surgeon, very prominent. They had a two-person ophthalmology group, and they worked great together. She's now a big supporter of his. And when he goes back to Kentucky, he now works with another female ophthalmologist doing his pro bono work, and she has her own surgery center.
Right.
Its whole family is full of strong women, myself included.
I was just going to say, you had a long-time career, and you've been advising him along the way because you've been in the communications business. Check out this poll, though. He did mention those other polls where he's actually beating Hillary Clinton in some very important states. But when women are asked, would you consider Rand Paul for the GOP nomination, only 11% said seriously. So some work to do there, right?
Perhaps, but then we have a pretty good might. What's that might number?
Yep, 46%.
Yeah. So, you know, it's still very early. So, but I would just say I think Rand, above all people I've ever met, really values people for the substance of what they bring, not who they are.
You say that he's really has this kind of personality where he just cuts right. And I think that's what's appealing to so many people. He tells it like it is, right?
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, he does. And you could make the argument, oh, is he abrupt or whatever, but he does. He wants to kind of cut through a lot of the extraneous stuff we see in politics and get to the solution. You know, find solutions, not just complain about problems, but actually find solutions to them.
How important was it for you in this decision-making process to decide for him to run for president? It must be a huge family decision. You have 3 sons, and you're basically going to be on the road and center stage for quite some time.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a hard decision, and that's why we've been talking about it now for close to a year. It's a little bit of a daunting effort, but at the same time, I feel like the time is right and that Rand has a great message and can bring a lot to the table. So we're all behind him, and we're excited to support him, and, you know, we're really excited about it.
So we're talking about women and how important they are to any kind of campaign. We're watching live shots now of Hillary Clinton, the Democratic presidential hopeful. She is now entering the community college there in Iowa and meeting the students for this so-called listening tour. Some faculty members there as well. Probably more members of the press who are interested in how this is all going to play out. So let me ask you, Kelley, how do you feel about the fact that your husband may be going up against a woman in Hillary Clinton?
You know, that doesn't really enter into my consideration. I mean, I'm just like Rand. I want to see the best person for the job, male, female. It doesn't really matter to me. You know, I want to look at the substance of what they bring to the table.
So when you see that somebody like Marco Rubio also announces to get into the race yesterday and says that he's sort of the today candidate and Hillary's sort of past tense, I guess your husband would also say that he's pretty much of a today candidate as well.
Yeah, I think he and Marco, they're both younger and sort of newer to politics, and so they do want to bring something fresh and interesting to the debate.
One of the really important things that Kelley has done is she's put together this new book, and you really herald women in your life. As you can see the front cover there, your close friends, but you also talk about the women in your life, your grandmother, for example, who were so important in being role models. What's the message of the book?
The message of the book is to kind of be present in life. I believe that when we look back at our lives, the most important moments are usually the small moments, the people that really see and understand you and spend time with you. And for most of us, the first people that do that are our mothers or our grandmothers. And I wanted to celebrate that and honor that. My own mother and grandmother have been such powerful influences in my life. And I decided to explore the idea of going back in time as much as 100 years with each of my closest friends and find out the stories of all the women who really shaped us and made us who we are.
And within that, we have a connection.
I know.
You and I. And I was so stunned to find this out when your husband's communications director called me and said, "You're in this book." So share with our viewers, Kelley, how I'm in this book.
I was equally surprised how it all kind of transpired. I had a wonderful friend in Bowling Green. She's not one of the college friends. She was a friend of mine in Bowling Green. She was a physician, an OBGYN, and a woman of great faith. And I wanted to write about faith. And when I thought about the person who had most inspired my faith, I thought of her. Her name was Kelley Lyons-Fee, and she passed away of colon cancer at age 43.
And we're looking at a photo of her here because she won the Miss Teen pageant in a national competition. And
so I went out to Tompkinsville, Kentucky to meet with Kelley's mother, Loretta Lyons, also an amazing, strong woman who has endured a lot in her life and has a very strong faith. And in sitting with Loretta and going through Kelley's old scrapbooks, she was telling me about Kelley winning that beauty pageant. I'm looking down, and she starts talking about the girl that played the violin. She's like, "We all thought the girl who played the violin would win."
Me. And I was first runner-up, and there I am, and Kelley won, and I know that she has passed away, but she was a friend of yours. And great success with the book, Kelley. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We got to get back now